Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're jumping into something many of us enjoy, beer.
Right.
But we're not just, talking about tasting notes. Our mission here is to uncover some, frankly, surprising secrets about what's actually in common beers,
hmm
why it's all so hush-hush, and what you, the listener, can maybe do about it.
Yeah, it's quite the story.
We're drawing on an activist investigation, looking at industry documents, history, that kind of thing. So get ready. This might change how you look at your next pint.
It really might. It's a deep dive into transparency or maybe the lack of it.
Yeah.
The sources we looked at suggest the industry's been hiding things for a long, long time.
So let's start there. What's the main problem this activist found? Because it seems kind of crazy that beer companies don't have to list ingredients, right?
Exactly.
Like you see it on soda, even Windex, but not beer. How does that work?
That's the absolute core of it. The sources say we've been blindly drinking this stuff for decades, no idea what the big guys are putting in. It's a huge regulatory loophole. And apparently it goes way back, generations even, with practices that just never saw the light of day.
And this activist, she's got a bit of a history with this kind of thing. What did the sources say about her background?
Oh, yeah, her track record's pretty impressive. The sources mentioned that big win against Subway.
Oh, right. I remember that.
Yeah, apparently it took 24 hours.
Incredible.
So she knows how to get consumers fired up about transparency. And now she's turned that focus onto beer, digging up these decades-old secrets.
Okay, so what did she find? What are these, shocking additives in common beers?
Well, the list is pretty unsettling. For instance, the sources talk a lot about MSG, monosodium glutamate.
MSG.
Yeah.
In beer. Why?
Well, the claim is it's addictive, that it sort of programs the brain, makes you want to drink more.
Wow, that sounds intense. Programming the brain.
Yeah, the sources draw a direct line to how tobacco companies operate.
That's a heavy comparison. Are they saying it's just like nicotine engineered for addiction? How exactly?
The idea presented is, yeah, it's about conditioning you, repeat purchases, drinking more volume, similar strategies, maximizing consumption. It's painted as very deliberate, not just some random ingredient.
All right.
And besides MSG, she also flags carrageenan.
Carrageenan, I've heard of that. What's the issue there?
It's linked to intestinal inflammation.
Okay, so actual health concerns, not just weird additives. What about high fructose corn syrup, HFCS? That's everywhere.
Very common. And yeah, it's in popular beers. Bud Light Lime gets mentioned.
Right.
It's way cheaper than using traditional malt and hops, you see.
At the cost angle.
Exactly. And the sources even raise a concern about potential mercury contamination in HFCS.
Mercury. Seriously.
That's what's reported. And then there's caramel coloring level 4.
Okay.
This stuff is actually classified as a carcinogen over in California.
A carcinogen. And it's in beer. Why?
Again, cost cutting. It's used to get that beer color right without using the more expensive, proper malting techniques.
So it really sounds like it's shifting from, brewing as a craft to just industrial production. Volume over quality.
That's precisely the picture painted. Efficiency over tradition. Absolutely.
Okay, scrolling through the list here in the sources. Propylene glycol. That sounds familiar, but not for good reasons.
Ah, yes. Propylene glycol. The sources identify it as, an ingredient in airplane de-icing fluid.
De-icer. They're kidding.
Not kidding. And what's really eyebrow-raising is that it's reportedly found in Corona now after they were bought out by a big corporation.
Airplane de-icer.
Yeah.
In Corona. That's something. Anything else unexpected?
Yeah, one more on that list. Isinglass.
Isinglass. What's that?
It comes from fish swim bladders.
Fish guts. In beer.
Well, yeah, it's a traditional processing aid, actually, used to clarify the beer, make it less cloudy by binding to yeast.
Okay, so it's filtered out.
Mostly, but the sources also mention potential links to intestinal disruption. So, yeah, definitely not things you'd expect to find listed on the label, if there was one.
It's bad enough having hidden ingredients, but the sources go further, right? They suggest some big brands aren't even making real beer anymore, this fake beer idea.
Yeah, that's a really key point they make. The claim is that some huge players, like Anheuser-Busch, haven't actually produced traditional beer for maybe 15 years?
15 years? So what are they making?
It's described as more like chemical syrup.
Chemical syrup. That sounds awful.
It points to how these manufacturing shortcuts have just fundamentally altered the product itself.
What kind of shortcuts are we talking about? Are they skipping steps?
Well, the sources suggest some companies might not even be using traditional fermentation.
No fermentation. How do you make beer then?
Apparently, they're just combining things like beer flavoring, sugar, and alcohol.
Wow. Okay, so just mixing it up.
Pretty much. It's a world away from, malting, mashing, boiling, fermenting, the classic process.
So if they're not using real hops,
Hmm.
what are they using? You mentioned extracts, something called tetra hops.
That's right. Tetra hops. Companies like Miller Coors reportedly use this hop extract.
And what's the deal with that?
The sources explain it lets them use the absolute bare minimum amount of actual hops.
Ah,
But in doing that, you lose a lot of the natural compounds, the potential health benefits people sometimes associate with hops.
right. So connecting this back, it's like the complete opposite of, say, traditional German brewing or even some Mexican styles, right?
Right.
What do those older methods prioritize?
Exactly. Those traditions, they still follow the old brewmaster things, as the source puts it.
Okay.
They focus on real ingredients, water, barley, hops, yeast, and the actual time-honored processes. Quality first, not just speed and cutting costs.
And you can see the effect, can't you? The sources say major brewers lost like 45% of the U.S. market to microbrews and local guys.
Yeah, 45%. That's huge.
Yeah,
It definitely shows people are looking for something. Well, something more authentic, maybe.
it really does. Which makes you wonder, though, if craft beer is getting so popular, why are Bud Light and Miller Lite still absolutely massive?
Yeah, it's a bit of a puzzle, isn't it? The sources basically put it down to two things. They're cheap, and they have these gigantic marketing machines.
The Super Bowl ads.
Exactly, those huge campaigns. The argument is they kind of brainwash people here and overseas,
Mhm.
just keeping them loyal out of habit or image.
Huh. And there's another point the sources make, which I found really interesting, that these super processed beers are maybe designed for easy, high-volume drinking, unlike, say, a heavier traditional beer.
Mm.
How do the ingredients we talked about, like fewer hops, maybe no real fermentation, how does that make them easier to just pound back?
That's a really sharp observation. The sources definitely suggest that. By stripping out the complexity, the bitterness from lots of hops, the body from proper malt, these industrial beers become super smooth, very light.
Almost like water.
Kind of. It makes it really easy to drink a lot of them without even thinking about it.
Yeah.
Whereas a traditional, thicker beer, it naturally makes you slow down.
Right.
So yeah, the sources use the term engineered for gluttony.
Engineered for gluttony. Wow. That really sticks with you. So, okay, this lack of transparency, these ingredients, how do we tackle this? What's the path forward? Regulation, activism.
Well, demanding accountability seems key, and the big weird thing the sources stress is that regulatory loophole. The FDA regulates food, drugs, but not beer.
Right, you mentioned that. Who does then?
The Treasury Department.
The tax people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The department focused on collecting taxes oversees one of the most consumed drinks in the world. It's number 3, right after water and soda.
That seems odd. Misplaced, maybe.
It definitely feels like a major oversight, especially after learning about these potential ingredients, and that's why the activists launched her petition.
Got it. To close that gap.
Exactly, calling for an end to the secrecy. And it clearly struck a nerve. The sources say it got over 11,000 signatures in just, 3 hours.
Wow. Okay, so people care. And the goal is really about empowering us, the consumers, isn't it? If we know what's in it, we can choose. Maybe pick a craft beer or an organic one instead of something with, well, de-icer.
Precisely. Transparency leads to informed choice. And the activist has apparently even started listing Food BAME-approved beers.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, brands that actually volunteer their ingredient lists. So it gives people a clear path if they want to make that choice.
And the sources frame this as part of something bigger, right? A pro-human movement, taking back control of food and water from toxic chemicals.
It's presented as being in the same vein as other consumer wins, like getting BPA out of plastics.
Right, right. Or changes in ketchup recipes, stuff like that.
Exactly. Victories driven by people demanding better.
So what's the hope for this specific beer initiative? What impact are they expecting?
The expectation, according to the sources, is pretty significant. They anticipate it putting a lot of public pressure on the big beer companies, and that it'll likely grab global media attention, just like her past campaigns did. It's kind of a blueprint for how people power can actually force change in a huge industry.
It really is. Okay, so wrapping this up, what's the main takeaway for you, the listener? We've definitely peeked behind the curtain on common beers, found some surprising stuff.
Yeah, and seen how knowing what's in your glass gives you power.
Absolutely. This deep dive really opened my eyes. And it makes you think, doesn't it? If beer ingredients have been kept secret for so long, What else? What other everyday things might have hidden stuff we should be asking about?
That's a great point.
How much power do we really have as consumers to push for transparency everywhere? Definitely something to ponder next time you're grabbing a drink.